Today we're going to discuss the opera in England in the Baroque time, and especially two composers we're going to mention, Purcell and Handel. So in your workbook you will see that we have a specific pattern that Purcell uses, but let's first listen to the opera aria they want us to know. And that's the pattern that you hear. Here we have quite a small orchestra. So your homework will be to listen to a few singers singing this aria. So while we listen, let's see what we have in our books. England was slow to take up opera. The one great English opera of the 17th century is the one that we're listening to now, the Dido and Aeneas by Henry Purcell. This is a masterpiece in miniature, so it's quite a short opera. The high point of the opera is Dido's recitative Thy Hand, Belinda, which leads into a deeply moving lament, When I'm Laid in Earth. For this, Purcell uses his favorite form, the grand bass, and we heard that in the beginning of this composition. So play this on the piano or your instrument and try and recognize where you've heard it in the aria. When Handel came to England in 1710, audiences had discovered a taste for Italian opera. He immediately took advantage of this and during the next few years composed 30 or more operas in Italian style. So Handel was definitely a businessman. He saw the opportunity and he grabbed it and he started composing in the Italian style. As an example of Baroque opera at its finest, listen to an aria from an opera by Handel, such as Piangero, I Must Weep, from Giulio Cesare, or Dove Sei, Art Thou Troubled, from Rodinello. And we're going to listen to this one, Art Thou Troubled. And there you see the original early Baroque instruments. So those you can also describe when you do your assignment. So your assignment is assignment 30. Listen again to Dido's Lament from Purcell's Dido and Aeneas and to the aria from the opera by Handel. So we're doing Rosalinda. Note down all the differences and also any similarities you discovered between these pieces. So you can write about the size of the orchestra. Is it big? Is it small? The type of soloist we have. Is it male? Is it female? Maybe find out a little bit about the words. That you can see, are they both sad songs? Look at the tempo. We've done tempo now. Are they both slow? Do we have a B section that's quite contrasted in the one and not in the other one? So you must listen to both of these songs and look at the elements of music we've done so far. Look at the dynamics, look at the musical instruments, the melody, and try and find similarities and differences. We're also going to discuss oratorio today. Born at about the same time as opera was another important form of vocal music called oratorio. It took its name from St. Philip Neri's oratory, the Hall of Prayer in Rome, where the first oratorios were performed. At first, oratorios were very similar to operas. Now, operas were acted out. They had recitatives, they had arias and choruses, they had scenery and costumes and different characters. So we had exactly the same in the first oratorios. The main difference was that an oratorio was based on a sacred story, usually taken from the Bible. In time, oratorios ceased to be acted out and were given musical presentation only in churches and concert halls rather than the theatre. Now there we see some main composers of oratorio: Carissimi, Schütz. But the greatest oratorios of the Baroque period were composed during the first half of the 18th century with words in English by Handel. Now we have some examples of oratorios here: Israel in Egypt, Samson, and the Messiah. As in his operas, Handel uses recitative to move the story along, and arias were more thoughtful, reflective moments. In some oratorios, he gives great weight and importance to choruses which vividly describe the more dramatic events in the story. An exciting example is the chorus from Israel in Egypt. He gave them hailstones for rain, fire mingled with blood ran along upon the ground. So that's a very good example to go and listen to. Now assignment 31, listen to the sequence of recitative from Messiah, which tells of the birth of Christ, beginning with "There were shepherds abiding in the field." Describe his accompaniment. So is it secco, dry, or is it accompagnato, accompanied? And to the chorus which follows, "Glory to God." So let's listen to this. So it started secco, and there we have accompaniment. That's dry again. So secco. And there the aria starts, or the chorus work. So listen to all those recitatives, and there we have the chorus work. I can hear the small orchestra. That sounds like a round. So listen to the whole chorus work and the recitative so that you can do that assignment. So let's look at your assignment form on Google Classroom. Baroque opera in England. We're also going to do Oratorio. Listen to the YouTube recordings of the music mentioned in your Cambridge workbook. Complete assignment 30 and assignment 31 in the tables provided. So assignment 30 is about the similarities and the differences between the Purcell and the Handel aria. And then we also have the Baroque Oratorio, where you have to discuss the recitatives and the chorus work. And then I want you to discuss the differences between the terms opera and oratorio. So I will also provide a suggested answer sheet after completion, and then I'm sure that you will understand everything if you go through this a few times.